Hello everyone, welcome back to GGN. This is part 2 for this news report today for Friday, July 5th, 2013. I'm ready to go and cover some police state, conspiracy news, and the economy. Concealed carry permits skyrocket, set to be record year in many states. Concealed gun permits are growing by leaps and bounds across the states. Ohio is poised to almost double the 65,000 issued in 2012, which would be triple its 2007 figure. Florida has also issued more than 173,000 over the past year, up 17%. Oklahoma, Nebraska, Tennessee, Wyoming have each issued nearly as many and even more than its entirety of the year before, the Wall Street Journal reports. Some police tell the paper they're concerned about the trend. Without the gun, it's a fist fight. With the gun, it's a shooting. So it's kind of a societal thing, too. I mean, these are law-abiding citizens that are being issued these permits to protect themselves against a-holes such as these urban dwellers that don't register their guns. They're not law-abiding citizens, and they will shoot law-abiding citizens who want to forego that right just for the sake of harmony, because the police said, well, you know, there's just too many guns out there, so only the criminals and bad people can have guns, and you should just go out of your way to make sure that there's not as many guns, and don't be able to defend you or your family or your property for the sake of it. Now, this is a societal thing. These, like I said, these urban rat dwellers, criminals, are going to do what they're going to do. They're going to acquire weapons, and they don't fight anymore, right? They don't do fist fights. One-on-one. They do jump. They'll jump you, right, when you're vulnerable by yourself. And then if they do have a gunfight, they don't have a duel, like a gentleman's duel. No, they just spray drive-by shooting. So not very honorable, and I think it just says a lot about our society in general. Gun owners march on Houston police station with shotguns and assault rifles. It says here that a group of gun owners and gun rights advocates celebrated Independence Day on Thursday by marching on the headquarters of the Houston Police Department while carrying an array of shotguns and assault rifles. According to the Examiner, the group was organized via Facebook and numbered about 25 attendees, saying it's Independence Day. Where it all started, said shotgun-toting protester Jen Kroll to the Houston Chronicle. What better day to show our rights? Technically, they're right. I don't know if I would be marching to the police station, nor would I be marching on Washington, D.C. like Adam Kokesh wanted to do. He says if you don't use your rights, they'll take them away. So, but in a sense, they are right. I mean, just to be able to have some kind of rally somewhere, or even just walk around. I mean, obviously they're not going to be loaded. It's just the fact that they have them. They're able to be in public with them. But this is a left-leaning rawstory.com. So, very scary individuals here at this website. You read these comment boards, just very, very scary comments here, like the survivalist that killed himself. You know, they just make complete jokes. I mean, really, really bad. So when I read this is about 3 or 4 hours ago, but it says 10 minutes ago. I'm surprised. We need to take guns away from cops, not just march on their cowardly quarters. So I agree with them. But if you go down, it says fat, inadequate pencil-dick pussies march on Houston police station with shotguns and assault rifles. There, fixed it. Typical conservative, all they think about is how big is your Johnson. It says here, very sad these individuals think they need their guns and make them a priority in their life. I am personally reaching my limit with these people. At a certain point, I just want them gone. You can go in and check it out. It goes on and on. Police investigating ex-Marine gun rights activists over armed park video. U.S. Park Police in Washington, D.C. police are investigating a video posted by gun rights activist Adam Kokesh, in which the former U.S. Marine and Iraq veteran seen loading shells into a pump-action shotgun, promising a final American revolution by next Independence Day. So, the clip called "Open Carry March on D.C. a Success" showed Kokesh standing in a black Goodfellas-style jacket and no tie in what appears to be Washington, D.C.'s Freedom Plaza, where carrying a loaded firearm is illegal. So, saying will not be silent. So. Again, talking about the revolution, Paul Revere, I think that these certain types of, some people call it Stratfor agents, but CIA agents, Zionist agents, some people say that he's Jewish, some people say that he's a Zionist agent, CIA agent, who knows, you know what I mean? Maybe he's legitimate, maybe he thinks that this is what it takes, but I just think these tactics aren't going to really work. They actually work against you. So there you go, I'll post the links in there. Police in California received death threats after killing the man's dog. So the police officers caught on tape last week fatally shooting a dog in the front of a crowd of people are now facing criticism and even death threats from animal lovers all across the nation. It says here that basically the guy left the windows open in his car and the dog went out and it approached the officers while barking. One policeman shot the dog 4 times, causing the writhing animal to slowly bleed to death on the street. So the police kind of give a half-ass response to it. These aren't just threats of ill will. It says these are absolute threats to life. It says that they issued a statement Wednesday apologizing for the fatal shooting of the dog. It says, unfortunately, in the midst of the social media response, fallacies are being perpetuated and outright criminal threats are being made in the public forum of various websites. Department employees have been misidentified as the officer who shot. So it led to criminal threats of harm directed not only at city employees, but similarly named public citizens who just happen to live and work in their surrounding region. So... moving on here, we have Oklahoma man hog-ties burglar up for the police. A man suspected of burglary tangled with the wrong man and ended up hog-tied in the yard until Tulsa, Oklahoma police arrived on Wednesday. Said she and her husband heard breaking glass, saw a folding chair inside her daughter's bedroom around 6 a.m. They went around to the front to wait for the man. Says then it was when he bum rushed the Cole and tied his hands and feet behind his back. So I guess the wife was 9 months pregnant, fawned over her husband, saying he's like a superhero. So, and I agree with the comments saying that I would have just shot the guy, but you know, not everybody's physically able to do something like that, to physically take down a perpetrator like that. But if you can, I guess go for it. ShotSpotter cracking down on deadly 4th of July celebrations with audio tech. So. Like an urban legend, but every year people are killed by stray bullets falling from the sky, usually from celebration shots fired into the air on New Year's or the 4th of July. So states are trying to toughen the penalties for such antics. Again, this is like, you know, you win a war, a revolution or something, you fire shots, and you look at the videos in Middle East, like in Libya or whatever, or even in Syria, they're fired shots in the sky. I'm not saying it's not all that bright, but it's because they're free. When you see things like that, it's a sign that they're more free than us. So we're touting freedom on Independence Day, celebrating how free we are, and yet, again, just another way of telling you that you can't. You know, that's one thing, like I said, fireworks are a nice pressure release to avoid revolutions, but at the same time, at least we're free enough to at least have them. In Chicago, they're banned. ShotSpotter works by deploying an array of listening devices around the city. As loud noises are recorded, analyzed, and triangulated by a computer with help from humans. Police can then quickly respond, continuing to get updates on any additional shots from a graphical interface in their patrol cars. Then you had this neighborhood locked down after shots fired. Neighborhood on the west side of the valley was locked down for several hours Thursday night in Las Vegas. Said that someone was firing gunshots in the air Thursday night. God, you know, it's just, man, the person was arrested, but the gun was not found. They believe the gun is in a home in the area or the vehicle. They obtained a search warrant to put the neighborhood on lockdown while they looked for the gun. So, unbelievable, isn't it? West Virginia using seatbelt checkpoint to conduct illegal search and seizure. So, the Beckley Police Department conducted a seatbelt checkpoint, which yielded 0 citations for seatbelt violations. But it goes on here and it says that the seatbelt law doesn't go into effect until July 9th. The officers did, however, manage to find cause to bring the Canine Corps and conduct a few illegal searches. Set up the checkpoints to make our roadways safer. Are they yours? Are they mine? No. They're the cities. They're the states. Does that represent you? No, it doesn't. It represents a corporate private entity. That's just my opinion, but that's the way I see it. Ohio Police Department using fake drug. See, that's what I said. It's for, when I talk about private court, it's the monetary system. That's why the police they kind of indirectly work to instill and support and protect the monetary system. So when there's like counterfeit items or stolen items, not a personal private effects of an individual. I'm talking about like a corporation or something that produces revenue that they can tax. Ohio Police Department using fake drug checkpoints to identify suspicious drivers. So it says here that police in the Cleveland suburb Mayfield Heights know that they're not allowed to use checkpoints to search drivers in their cars for drugs, so they're trying the next best thing, fake drug checkpoints. So it says here that there was a drug checkpoint ahead. That's where they were telling people to be prepared to stop. And there was drug-sniffing police. There was no such checkpoint, but police officers waiting to see if any drivers would react suspiciously after seeing the signs. It said 4 people were stopped, some arrested, and drugs were seized. I don't think it accomplishes any public safety goals. I don't think it's good to mislead the population for any reason if you're a government agency. So along with all these security checkpoints and shots fired and stuff, and so much security around these events, they just made it so that people they're so apathetic about it. They don't even care. It's just, what's the point of going out there and getting harassed by the police state and saying how free we are, chanting it. Chicago, fireworks for the 4th, 5 shot dead, 27 wounded, 3 days to go in the gun-free paradise. This is a typical start to a weekend in Chi-Town, where guns are banned unless you are a Chicago alderman named Mel. So far, the banging weekend has produced at least 5 shot dead and 27 wounded. How military counterinsurgency software is being adapted to tackle gang violence in mainland USA. From the 3rd of July, analysts believe that insurgents in Afghanistan form similar networks to street gangs in the United States, so the software for analyzing these networks abroad ought to work just as well at home, say military researchers. See? Everything else, that's what they're doing. They're testing. They're just testing everything, right? Whether it's pain ray guns, whether it's surveillance technology, whether it's prosthetic limbs, creating a whole generation of these veterans with all kinds of psychological issues and blown off limbs, and so then they can get a lot of funding for medication, for all that stuff, including prosthetics. But they say gangs. I mean, in the future, there are going to be gangs of people that are going to be marching to the police station with guns. That's what this will be used for, not just Latin Kings or other types of gangs. You have former cop warrants of race riots. This is what we already covered it before, but a former Chicago police officer warned that should George Zimmerman be acquitted for murdering Trayvon Martin, race riots could spark with the quickness. If you live in a large city, be prepared to evacuate or put up a fight to win. You'll need firearms, fire suppression equipment, along with lots of food and water. Well, don't worry, the cops are going to be there to protect you, right? Police resources will be slow and outgunned everywhere, adding that America may see some combat-related population control like we've not seen since the Civil War. And then also you have what? White folks ready to riot, says Pastor James David Manning. So pretty interesting. But he basically says that that they've had enough. So, and that it's not just it's not going to just happen, but it's going to be huge. He says it's going to make the LA riots look like nothing. I don't know. We'll see if we get enough brainwashed white people to actually riot. I don't see that happening. Paula Deen blames the Jews for firing. I did not see this. Celebrity chef Paula Deen from June 28th, embroiled in controversy this week over allegations of racism, added 2 cups of gasoline to the fire this morning when she blamed her troubles on the Jewish people. So she said that Jew executives deliberately abandoned her in the wake of the controversy, which stemmed from a discrimination lawsuit filed by a former employee against her company. She said, I hosted one of those Food Network's most popular shows. We had great ratings, great everything. Fans loved me, but as soon as the N-word thing came up, the greedy Jew executives at the Food Network dropped me faster than a baked potato on a summer day. A shocked Garber responded, I'm sorry, but did you just say greedy Jew executives? Yes, I did, Dave, Dean responded. I made those Jews all this money, and they still stabbed me in the back. As soon as it looked like their profits would be affected, they told me I was no longer needed. That's Jew loyalty for you. U.S. reports strong job growth in June. 2 prior months, so hiring just broke out to a new higher level than expected. So, isn't that great? Celebrate, everybody. Obamacare strikes, part-time jobs surge to all-time high. Full-time jobs plunged by 240,000. That's why I was calling it what? It's the unemployment care bill. It's going to make unemployment seem to be going down. Number of involuntary part-time workers jumps 332,000 in June, working part-time because their hours have been cut or because they were unable to find a full-time job. 1/3 of British children consider suicide by age of 16, so they either, I could say, we are at risk of failing a generation of young people. Well, my parents, my grandparents, they all failed me, so that's the way I see it. Going along to get along. It's a pretty bleak future. But they blame it on what? Mental health problems. So not getting a drug dog. Farm Bill cuts SNAP for poor and expands subsidies to wealthy agribusinesses. Monsanto, Syngenta, and DuPont, Bill Gates' major sponsors of World Food Prize. That's right. Monsanto and Syngenta are major sponsors of the World Food Prize, which they were awarded, so awarded themselves a prize. Unapproved GMO rice trials have contaminated the world's rice supply, along with bees dying by the millions in Canada. A memorial honored 50,000 bumblebees that died in the Oregon parking lot. Hundreds of animals, fish, and birds from Florida Natural Lagoon are dead. This is GGN. Thank you.